The phone hacking scandal is one of the darkest periods of British journalism. It was one that brought down a British newspaper after 168 years, David Cameron's former comms director being sent to prison, and he skewed the public's perception of journalists to a point where I'm not ever sure if it would ever recover from. Many who work in journalism looked on in horror at what happened at News of the World and News International. Others just accepted it was a part of Fleet Street and it was a dirty open secret.
I've always said that I've just tried to write articles in a truthful way, and what better source of getting the truth is to listen to someone's messages. Now that might sound frivolous, but several celebrities have called us evil and scum, whereas all we've ever tried to do...
But what right have you got to listen to their messages? What possible right?
I'll tell you what, let's bring in Steve Coogan, shall we?
I have to say, I think you're a walking PR disaster for the tabloids because you don't come across in a sympathetic way.
Now it's the subject of a brand new drama from ITV called The Hack. Written by Jack Thorne, who also wrote real-life drama Mr. Bates vs. the Post Office and Toxic Town, as well as the Emmy-winning Adolescence, we follow Nick Davies, played by David Tennant. Nick is frustrated at the state of journalism, noticing how journalists churn out press releases and reporters do not have the time or resources to produce original journalism. He also believed that illegal news gathering is rife within the journalism industry. He said all of this in 2008, by the way. But suddenly, an anonymous source confirms that Nick was right about illegal news gathering, and he suggests that phone hacking is rife at News International, run by Satan himself, Rupert Murdoch. And the former editor of News of the World, Andy Coulson, is going to enter 10 Downing Street as David Cameron's Director of Communications. Oh dear. Nick and his editor, Alan Rushbridger, played by Toby Jones in a bad wig, face going head to head with News International, while also trying to make other newspapers, and most importantly the public, care. And it took them bloody years to do so. The hack effectively splits into two different plots from the first episode, yet both cases are intertwined and share similarities. The second main plot focuses on the cold case murder of Daniel Morgan, a private investigator who was killed in a pub car park in 1987. We see Robert Carlyle's DCS Dave Cook fights a losing battle while struggling with press surveillance and police corruption. While these balancing of these two plots does sort of work, it sometimes does feel like ITV has accidentally slipped in a random crime drama in the middle of the series. The phone hacking scandal is complex, requires wider context, and understanding to appreciate how devastating this was. Politicians, celebrities, royal family members, police officers, members of the public were all targeted by private investigators, and journalists employed by News International and Rupert Murdoch's company tried, but failed, to cover it all up. The Hack has 7 episodes to cover the whole saga, and thanks to the fourth wall breaks by Nick Davies, they help the viewer understand how News of the World abused their powers, their relationship with the police, and even phone hacking victims to avoid being detected and try and cover this all up. This exposition is possibly the best way to explain certain elements, even if it did come off as a bit smug at times.
Philbeck, Miskew and Edmondson, chief reporter, former news editor, current news editor. That is a culture Coulson has created. You can't survive this.
There are some jokes that don't quite land. There's a bit in the first episode where a fourth wall breaking Nick has to pick guys for his anonymous source, and Harry Hill, Connie Huck, Gabby Logan and Jonathan Ross all appear. It's like a panel for Would I Lie to You, or in Rupert Murdoch's case, Would I Hack Your Phone? David Tennant is fantastic in The Hack. He really conveys the shock and displeasure of uncovering more facts, while also passionately trying to keep Alan on side with what is a murky and distressful investigation, let alone the legal ramifications if they got anything wrong. Robert Carlyle also does a solid job as a hard-nosed detective who feels like he's stuck in a nightmare. There's so many British TV stars in this that it becomes a who's who of British TV. Like it's Steve Pemberton from Inside Number 9. Oh, it's her from Game of Thrones. It's him from Four Lions. It's Thingy who doesn't really look like Gordon Brown. And why is Janine from EastEnders in this? There's so many British actors in this, I'm surprised that Sheridan Smith somehow didn't cameo. The series also serves as the best and worst of journalism. The best sees Nick champion investigative journalism and working with phone hacking victims to share their stories and emotional toll as the legal surveillance took on them. The worst highlights the scale that phone hacking occurred at News of the World, and most tragically, the grim discovery that murdered Millie Dowler had her own phone hacked. It's these emotional moments lay bare how awful phone hacking was, just in the grand scheme of things, done to sell newspapers and make loads of money. It's a series that makes journalists shake their heads in dismay, while it also leaves viewers stunned it even happened. The hack is largely accurate with some creative license taken to move along the story or make certain moments more dramatic. Hence why they made Rupert Murdoch getting cream-pied more dramatic than he was, rather than just being a dull moment in the hearing.
Can you just tell me whether or not the Taylor settlement included a confidentiality clause, and maybe the other settlement did not?
Say that I was brought up by a father who was not rich, but who was a great journalist. And he, just before he died, bought a small paper specifically in his will saying he was giving me the chance to do good. Now, I remember what he did and what he was most proud of, and for which he was hated in this country by many people for many, many years, which was to expose the scandal at Gallipoli, which I remain very, very proud of.
I think that all students of history will be...
The sitting is suspended. Fuck it.
I also find it quite amusing that the Sun are refusing to cover the hack. I guess they didn't want to mind their declining readership of another bad thing they did. Mr. Bates vs. the Post Office left viewers the message that these ordinary, hard-working people still have compensation, they still had criminal records, and the fact that really, no one really knew about their struggles and their fight for justice. The TV show forced a national debate, former Post Office CEO Paula Venables having to return her CBE, and postmasters had their criminal convictions quashed. The hack, on the other hand, reminds viewers that the likes of Rebecca Brooks remain in senior media positions with little pushback, and left Sin 2 inquiries as dead as Manchester United in 2025. The message seems to be to push for a similar movement, draw a line under this whole saga and let the country heal from this whole issue, and call upon the government to launch a new investigation into our press and tougher press regulation. I can make a whole video about Love Sin 2 and why it's never really going to happen, but I don't think it's really going to happen anytime soon under this current government or any future governments. It's not seen as a priority. Despite the grim subject matter, The Hack was a weirdly enjoyable and thorough drama that is well worth a watch if you have 7 hours. Given there's so much information and the exposition dumps, I would recommend not binging watching the whole thing in one sitting, otherwise you've probably missed key bits of context that, if missed, will leave you struggling to figure out what happened. But it's thoroughly an enjoyable series and I'd highly recommend you should watch it right now on ITVX. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the series? Did you know anything about the phone hacker scandal? Do you think there's anything that they might have missed in the series? Let me know in the comments below. I really would like to talk to you all about the series and what you got out of it. If you did like this video, please drop me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. And of course, subscribe and click the bell for more videos coming from me about the media world and journalism and this and that. Anything I find interesting. Now on the screen right now, you might enjoy my own investigation into a hotel that's been closed for 2 years with a shady owner and no one knows what's going on. So you might enjoy that. But otherwise, there's something on the right that you might also be interested in based on your algorithm and, you know, your likes and dislikes on YouTube, whatever YouTube pumps towards you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care for now and see you again soon.